What I want to talk about is know thyself. And connected with that is love thyself. You need to know yourself, and what you know, the fact that you know yourself so well, allows you to open yourself up and to embrace who you are. I mean, that's it really in a nutshell with what I'm going to say, but it's going to take a little longer because I want to talk about what we do instead. And I'm going to use as an example, one of the students here. She's been active in the class, and she said it was okay for me to talk about this and to use some of our conversations as an example. But she has, every time she has spoken about herself in the sub, she has said something negative. She recently wrote, "My self-esteem is negative, my self-esteem." She says, fear plays a big part of my life. She had a week of getting a certificate for stage fighting. You know, she took a class and then she got a certificate and she passed it. She said about the week that she did that, it was a week of great anxiety. And this is after she had already gotten the certificate and had passed. She called it a week of anxiety. She has said over and over and over again negative things about herself. And so I had to stop and I said, wait a second, just stop right there. You need to stop saying negative things about yourself, because you are your product and you are the salesperson. You're both of those things. Okay. So if you're going around talking about yourself, putting it out into the universe, saying it to everybody you get a chance to say it to, I'm a mess. I'm depressed. I'm so worried all the time. I'm so worried. The thing is that you carry that weight with you when you do that. And people see it in you. When you walk into an audition, that is what's going to emanate from your being, because you don't believe in yourself. Now, she would argue, because she did say, well, I do believe in myself, and I want to move to LA, and I want to do this and this and this. But she is contradicting herself by the way she describes herself. Now, I know we all have doubts about things. We all have doubts. But the thing is, we can't label ourselves with them. She is using all of the negativity that she feels and thinks. Remember, what you think is what you are. That she's using the negative thoughts that pass through her brain to identify herself. Anybody here feel like they do that? It's okay to admit it. We all do it sometimes, don't we? Whatever it is that's getting in your way, you can change your concept of it. For instance, that week that she had of getting her stage battle certificate, rather than saying it was a week of anxiety, she could say it was a week of accomplishment. She could say it was a week of excitement. I watch a lot of documentaries at night to put myself to sleep, because they have that kind of droning, the droning voice that makes me just go out. And then I woke up this morning to one about the ancient city of Delphi in Greece. It's where people used to flock there. This was back before 600 BC. Okay, I think is when, well, and there was people going there way before that. But the temple that I'm talking about was built in 600 BC, and all the rulers and generals and everybody used to flock to Delphi to go to the oracle, which was this woman who sat over some gases that came out of the earth and put her into a trance. And she gave out information. She answered questions about the future. And what it says over the Temple of Apollo when people would go through the door is, know thyself. Know thyself. Because the thing is, what it turns out is that the things that the oracle used to say could be interpreted a lot of different ways. And it was really up to you, when you went in there with that question, to interpret what she said and to figure out what was really right, because you know what's right within you. You know it. About any question that you could ask, unless it's, a fact about something you know nothing about. But if what you should do, what should I do, Winnie? Some people think I'm the Oracle of Delphi because they ask me what they should do, right? And I say, well, you actually do know what you should do. You know what you can't live without, right? And you know what has to be done in order for you to achieve that. It's just that sometimes we don't want to look that way. No, I can't move. I can't do that. I can't do this because that's too scary. That's too right. But you know that if you want it to happen, you have to do that, right? You have to study. You have to get better. You have to actually be at the level of professionalism. You can't walk around in this world with blinders on. And here is another thing about knowing yourself. It is the secret of success in the acting world. And this just happened to pop up on my TV today because I don't think there's any coincidences that, the guy goes, know thyself. And I'm going, what? Because knowing yourself is how you become successful, because you are the product. And you are the salesman. I always give this little analogy. I say, you can't be a salesman that walks around knocking on people's doors and says, do you want to buy what's in my suitcase? And the person says, well, what is in there? And you say, I don't know. What do you think is in there? Okay, that's what most people are doing in this business as actors. Tell me who I am. Tell me what type I am. Tell me how I should market myself. But who knows you better than you? The thing is, we just don't want to see it because, you could be very funny looking, okay? But you want to be gorgeous. So you just want to be the leading lady or the leading man. You want to be walking in there and be a superhero, right? But that's not what you have to sell. I couldn't find that guy. There was this guy that had a new demo reel up on our acting. And he had the best demo reel. And they were all clips from actual shows he had booked. And this guy, sorry to say if he's seeing this, but he was wonderfully funny looking. Okay. One of his eyes kind of went off like this, and he had real kinky hair. His teeth were a little something. I don't know what it was, but he had such an interesting look. And he had obviously put it to use because he had job after job after job on his demo reel. Okay. It made me say, too bad I'm not more funny looking, right? Because actually how he looked was his gift. Whereas a lot of people might have told him, you can't be an actor. Look at you, right? You look funny. But that is his gift. That is what he has to sell. And it's interesting. And something about him makes your heart open to him. Even if he's playing kind of a slimy guy, like he played this guy that's working at the carnival, but still there he is with his little eye going off here and his frizzy hair. And there's something about him that makes you want to like him. Okay. So the thing is, what you have to sell, you need to love it. You need to love who you are and really be able to see what it is that you have that's different than everybody else. Don't look for the things that, okay, I just really want to be Audrey Hepburn. You know, she's so beautiful and had such grace in this. But the thing is, there was only one Audrey Hepburn, and there's really nobody else that was like her, right? And there's nobody else like you. You need to sell what you have to sell. Anybody have concerns about these things? Brittany?
Yeah, so I've kind of been working on this as well. It's in the form of like positive self-talk, especially when I get nervous. You know, I think it's really easy to, I know for myself, my entire life, I've had a very critical, like inner voice, very critical of myself. Always want to do like, maybe like slight perfectionist, but it's really bad, you know, like when you're talking to yourself like that all the time. And just in the last like week or two, I've been working on it really hard. And I feel like that goes hand in hand with like when you were describing the student, I related to her a lot. You know, you get anxious because you're afraid you're going to suck, or you're afraid you're going to do something wrong or not live up to this expectation. And positive self-talk sounds so silly, but I swear it helps so much. Just, I actually had an audition yesterday, and a couple of the things that I did, it was like my best one so far. And the reason was that I could control my nerves is I did our stretching thing that we do before this class. So I'm standing here shaking my booty by myself and everything before I jumped on the Zoom. And also telling myself all day, like, it's okay. Like if you mess up or it's not perfect, like it's okay. You're still just fine the way that you are. And I know it sounds so dumb, but it was so helpful just to like talk to myself like that in the hours leading up. And so I really like believe everything that you're saying, you know, just from recent personal experience, like how helpful it is not to be so critical of yourself all the time and just try to love yourself for who you are. And if somebody doesn't like it, like it really is okay. There will be another job, there will be another audition, and somebody's going to want what you have, you know?
And the thing is, like, what do you have to really be critical about, Brittany? Because you're beautiful and in your own particular way, right? It's not like, you know, this person or that person, it's Brittany beauty. Right? What you need to do is be able to recognize your assets. I was watching a few casting directors talking about what they need in a self-tape, and or in a Zoom audition or an in-person audition. They said within the first 15 seconds of a performance, we want to fall in love with the actor. What does it mean they want to fall in love with them? What do you think it means? Anybody have an idea? What does the casting director want to fall in love with?
The actor themselves, what they're offering.
Right, that there's something compelling about them. There's something that makes them want to see them again. Right? And that has nothing to do with beauty. It has nothing to do with anything except giving an interesting performance. You know, as I was watching all these different things that casting directors say, some of them are so distracted by any little thing that's not right, but it's usually not the actor. Okay. They like if your backdrop needs to be ironed, it bothers them. Or if your backdrop is the wrong color, they go, okay, I'll just go on to the next person because I can't stand all those wrinkles on the backdrop. Okay, which is just ridiculous. But if there's something about the person, they all said the same thing. It's just the acting has got to be compelling. The acting has got to be hit me somewhere in the heart. It's got to make me say, whoa, right? And and most of you who have been in this class for a while have seen actors do that in this class, haven't you? And if you've watched some of the videos, You know, so when people get to be at a certain point in their abilities and in their skill, they know how to really use those inner thoughts to let the casting director look into the heart of the character that you're playing. And you get, if you know yourself and you love yourself, see, how could anybody fall in love with you if you're not in love with yourself? With the very specific thing that's you. Do you understand? And it doesn't matter if your body is perfect, if you're like, you know, you've got this little tiny waist and whatever, or, you know, if you're the handsome, you don't have to be the handsome guy, right? You don't have to be those things. You have to be you and take your character from there. So the thing is, love who you are. Be in love with it. It's a requirement of this class. Use it. Use it, because that's what casting directors want to do. They want to fall in love with you, and they can't fall in love with you unless you know what you have to fall in love with. It's not what somebody else has. The only thing you have to offer this world is what's uniquely you. Right? So we got to find that, right? And, you know, all you have to do is look in the mirror. All you have to do is like observe yourself in everyday life. You know, talk to the people that do love you, because there's something in you that the people who love you are drawn to and think you're adorable. They think you're adorable, right? The people that love you. Find what's adorable about you. I see lots of adorable things about all of you. I think a lot of people are frozen in their tracks because of fear, because of a poor self-image, that negative self-esteem that they carry around with them. That's a weight that you don't want to carry into your audition. You got to get rid of all that and think you are fabulous, but not in a delusional way, okay? Because, you know, you don't want to think you're Audrey Hepburn if you're not, right? You got to love who you are, not what you wish you were. Get rid of all those wishing things that you wish you were, but you're not, okay? You know what? You don't get to do that in this lifetime. Who knows? Maybe some other lifetime, but not this one, okay? You get to be who you are, and think about how little time you have to be you in this world. Got a short little period of time. Let me tell you, at 66 years old, it goes by really, really fast. So use that unique person that you are to affect the world. How can you, your image, your heart, your personality, everything about you, how can you touch the world? Think about it. Think about it. And think about it in a positive way, not a negative way. Anybody have anything else to say about this? Yes,
So similar to what Brittany said, the positive self-talk really does make a difference scientifically. And I know like it seems woo-woo to try to like tell yourself these affirmations or to, you know, to look in the mirror and say, oh, I'm enough. But I mean, it really does make a difference, because from the time we're young, we're kind of told that we're not enough. So it doesn't start with us, but like even from the time we're toddlers, you know, like we're told no, or, you know, we see these images on TV or in magazines. So it's just like conditioned into our brains to not feel enough. But it's just, you know, rewiring your brain and having that positive self-talk like really does make a difference. And I've been doing it on a daily basis, and I do see like my brain fighting it, but it's slowly starting to change.
Good. Yeah, some people want to be actors so that they can be Audrey Hepburn. They somehow think if I get to be an actor, then I'll be able to be Audrey Hepburn. No, that's not the way it works. No, but anybody can be an actor as far as their looks are concerned. Why? Because all types of human beings need to be represented in films and television, right? Stories are told about real people and the real people they know, right? So that's what you have to offer is you. Becca, what did you want to say? I know you want to say something.
Yeah, you kind of reminded me of our previous conversation, like, what should I do? And then you said, I think you know, and then I reviewed, but I said, okay, yeah, that's what I'm supposed to do. And then I just watched the newly released movie musical in Netflix, Tick Tick Boom. It's a movie musical about Jonathan Larson's life. I like the message overall in the story because he thinks nearing 30 is the death of his youth for some reason, and he's working on this very good musical he's been working on for 8 years, slaving away from it, and then he's very obsessed by this chance of being able to workshop it at last. And then he was reminded by his best friend that you must ask yourself this at this moment: are you doing this out of fear or out of love? And the way Andrew kind of responded to that, it looks like he's fearful of it than loving it. But it's clear that he has something to say. He believes in the story enough that he clearly loves it and doesn't want to give up on it. So it's more on not just loving yourself, but also loving the work you're doing. Absolutely.
And the thing is, all of you, I've asked you to ask, if your negative voices are true, then probably you shouldn't be actors, right? If all the negative voices in your head are true, you probably shouldn't be an actor. But ask yourself, can I live without being an actor? Can I go on? Does saying I'm not going to be an actor, does that hurt you? Does it stop you and make you go, oh, but I can't do that. I can't give up acting. I can't do that. Well, that's when you know you were born to do it. It's not like you can just walk away. So what that means? It means your negative voices are wrong. They're just wrong. Because you were meant to do this. I don't believe you have these desires in your heart. Van Gogh was a very troubled individual. He was very depressed and he had psychosis. But there was one thing he couldn't stop doing: painting. Because that was what he was born to do. No matter how troubled he was still painting. Right? And if you're an actor, no matter what, you just need to keep acting. That's what you got to do. Right? So that's what I want to help you guys do today. And we're going to work those scenes so that we can find who you are in the character and find the character in you. Okay, good. Let's get to work then.